The lunch rush at Silver Spoon Bistro crackled with tension. Hieri Park's manicured fingers drummed impatiently against the pristine white tablecloth, her designer heels tapping an aggressive rhythm against the polished floor. Steam rose from her half-empty espresso cup, mirroring the growing heat of her frustration. Ji-won Kim approached the table, her movements careful and precise. The bistro's soft background music and clinking cutlery seemed to fade as she reached Hieri's table, balancing a tray with remarkable grace. "I'm sorry for the delay with your order," Ji-won began, her voice soft but clear. Hieri's eyes flashed with immediate irritation. Her reputation as global tech industry's most demanding executive wasn't just a rumor, it was a carefully cultivated persona. "Delay? I've been waiting for 23 minutes. Do you understand how valuable my time is?" The other patrons began to take notice. A businessman at the nearby table subtly adjusted his glasses. An older couple exchanged knowing glances. Ji-won remained perfectly composed, her posture betraying nothing. "Our kitchen is experiencing a minor staffing challenge today," Ji-won explained, her tone professional and measured. "Your artisan salmon with truffle reduction will be ready momentarily." Hieri's laugh was sharp, cutting through the restaurant's ambient noise like a knife. "Staffing challenge? In my company, such excuses would get you immediately terminated. I've built global networks, managed billion-dollar contracts, and here I am, waiting for a simple lunch." What Hieri didn't know was that Ji-won had heard far worse during her classified military training. Each word was like a gentle breeze against the storm she'd weathered in her previous life. "I apologize for the inconvenience," Ji-won responded, her eyes holding a depth that momentarily confused Hieri. There was something different about this waitress, something that didn't match the typical service industry worker. The restaurant's climate-controlled environment suddenly felt charged. Ji-won's hand, which briefly touched the tray, revealed a faint scar, not from kitchen accidents but from precise military training. A tattoo, partially hidden by her sleeve, hinted at coordinates that weren't just random markings. "Your lunch will be complimentary," Ji-won added, a subtle smile playing on her lips. "Consider it our way of ensuring your satisfaction." Hieri's anger momentarily dissolved. There was something about Ji-won's composure that was unusual. Most servers would have crumbled under her verbal assault, but this woman stood firm, her eyes holding a calm that suggested deeper experiences. As Ji-won turned to retrieve the specially prepared salmon, a small communication device briefly flickered against her lower back, hidden perfectly beneath her server's uniform. To an untrained eye, it would look like a simple belt clip. To someone like Ji-won, it was a critical piece of advanced technology. The lunch crowd continued their conversations, unaware that between this demanding executive and seemingly ordinary waitress, something extraordinary was brewing. The simple bistro setting masked a complex narrative waiting to unfold. Hieri watched Ji-won walk away, her professional instincts sensing something beyond the ordinary. Little did she know how profoundly their paths were about to intersect. Atmospheric. Tension established. Unexpected encounter initiated. The story's first part concluded, leaving multiple questions hanging in the carefully controlled atmosphere of Silver Spoon Bistro. What secrets did Ji-won truly hold? And how would Hieri's world change in the coming hours? The modest apartment hummed with a quiet energy that belied its unassuming appearance. Ji-won's living space looked like any typical urban dwelling, minimalist, clean, with carefully arranged photographs that seemed ordinary at first glance. But hidden within this carefully constructed facade lay a history far more complex than anyone could imagine. A holographic display flickered to life as Ji-won's fingers brushed against a seemingly innocuous wall panel. Classified mission logs, satellite imagery and intricate star charts materialized in the air, a testament to her extraordinary past. Her fingers traced the coordinates of distant planetary systems, memories flooding back to her most critical assignments. 10 years earlier, Ji-won had been part of Earth's most secretive interstellar reconnaissance unit, not the kind soldiers talk about in military bars, but the type that existed only in whispered legends. She'd spent 3 years embedded in a multinational deep space research program, tracking potential extraterrestrial communication patterns. Her first encounter with non-human intelligence hadn't been dramatic. No explosive space battles or laser fights. Instead, it was a subtle detection of microscopic communication signals that didn't match any known terrestrial or satellite transmission protocols. Those signals had changed everything. A small robotic assistant, no larger than a coffee mug, whirred to life, projecting additional classified documents. Its design was sleek, almost organic, with adaptive metal components that could reconfigure based on environmental needs. This wasn't some consumer-grade gadget, but a highly sophisticated piece of technology developed by programs most governments would deny existed. Ji-won's fingers brushed against an old military commendation, a medal that looked simple but carried stories of prevented global catastrophes. Her training had been brutal, combining xenobiological studies, advanced communication analysis, and combat techniques that blended traditional martial arts with quantum-based defensive technologies. The waitress job wasn't just a cover. It was a strategic position. Silver Spoon Bistro sat at a critical urban intersection, close to multiple corporate headquarters and communication infrastructure nodes. Her seemingly mundane role allowed her to monitor potential alien infiltration patterns that traditional surveillance methods might miss. Her phone buzzed, an encrypted message that appeared as random static to anyone without the specific decryption algorithm. It was from her former unit commander, a message so deeply coded that it would appear as a simple restaurant reservation confirmation to anyone intercepting it. Memories of her last major mission flooded back. A potential alien communication network had been detected near Earth's orbital zones. Her team had successfully disrupted their communication protocols, preventing what could have been a massive infiltration attempt. But the cost had been high. 3 of her closest colleagues hadn't returned. The robotic assistant projected a 3D holographic map of recent extraterrestrial communication patterns. Red zones indicated potential threat regions, with the city's corporate district highlighted in an ominous crimson glow. Something was brewing, and Ji-won knew her current assignment was more critical than ever. Her military training had taught her patience, the ability to blend, to become invisible, to wait for the precise moment of intervention. Her current role as a waitress wasn't just a job, it was a strategic positioning that allowed her unprecedented access to information flows. A soft chime indicated an incoming secure transmission. The holographic display shifted, revealing complex mathematical sequences and quantum communication patterns. Whatever was coming, Ji-won was prepared. The modest apartment, with its carefully arranged photographs and seemingly ordinary furniture, held secrets that could potentially save humanity from threats they couldn't even comprehend. Silent preparation. Complete. Hidden watchfulness. Activated. The story's second part concluded, revealing the extraordinary life hidden beneath a mundane exterior. What threats were approaching? And how would Ji-won's unique background come into play? The city's electrical grid flickered subtly, a change so microscopic that most citizens would never notice. But for Ji-won, those millisecond disruptions were like blaring sirens. Something was moving through the urban infrastructure, something that didn't belong. Downtown's corporate district hummed with its usual mid-afternoon energy. Business people rushed between gleaming skyscrapers, delivery drones zipped through designated aerial corridors, and the city's complex technological ecosystem continued its rhythmic dance. But beneath this ordinary scene, an extraordinary invasion was quietly unfolding. Ji-won's specialized wristband, disguised as a simple fitness tracker, began vibrating with a specific frequency. 3 rapid pulses, then 2 short ones. A communication protocol developed during her classified training, indicating potential non-human presence within a 500-meter radius. Her eyes scanned the crowded street, appearing casual to any observer. A maintenance worker adjusting a street signal, a food delivery robot navigating through pedestrian traffic, a cleaning drone systematically moving along the building's exterior. Each seemed ordinary, but Ji-won's trained perception detected microscopic variations in their movement patterns. The first infiltration unit was likely electromagnetic, capable of mimicking technological systems with remarkable precision. These weren't the dramatic alien invasions from Hollywood movies, but something far more insidious, silent, adaptive, virtually undetectable. Her neural implant, a small chip carefully integrated behind her ear, began processing environmental data. Quantum-level communication signatures were emerging, creating complex interference patterns within the city's digital infrastructure. Most surveillance systems would miss these subtle disruptions, but Ji-won's specialized training made her a human detection mechanism. A maintenance panel on a nearby building shifted imperceptibly. To an untrained eye, nothing had changed, but Ji-won recognized the nanometric recalibration, a classic sign of technological camouflage used by advanced reconnaissance units. Her specialized communication device, hidden within her server's apron, began recording precise electromagnetic signatures. Each movement, each digital pulse was being meticulously documented. This wasn't just observation. This was strategic archiving of potential invasion methodologies. The alien infiltration units preferred technological integration over dramatic confrontations. They would slowly replace critical infrastructure components, creating a gradual systemic takeover. Communications, transportation, energy grids. Each sector would be strategically compromised. Ji-won's breathing remained steady. Years of tactical training had prepared her for precisely these moments. Her muscle memory, her neural responses, her entire physiological system was optimized for detecting and potentially neutralizing such threats. A nearby traffic signal momentarily glitched, changing colors in an impossible sequence. Most pedestrians wouldn't notice, but for Ji-won it was a clear marker of non-human technological interference. The infiltration was accelerating. Her communication with her former military unit would need to be carefully encoded. Standard transmission protocols would be monitored, intercepted. She would need to use deeply layered quantum communication techniques, embedding messages within seemingly random data streams. The city continued its bustling rhythm: commuters, delivery robots, corporate employees. None realized how close they were to a potential systemic collapse. And at the center of this potential catastrophe stood Ji-won, a lone, watchful guardian, ready to intervene. Her hand slightly adjusted her server's apron, revealing a glimpse of a sophisticated communication device. Not a typical restaurant worker's tool, but something far more advanced. A silent weapon in humanity's most critical defensive line. The afternoon sunlight cast long shadows across the corporate district. Another normal day in the city. But nothing was normal, not anymore. Technological infiltration detected. Silent invasion in progress. The story's third part concluded, revealing the complex, almost invisible threat lurking within the city's technological ecosystem. What would Ji-won's next move be, and how close was humanity to a potential technological takeover? The city's technological heartbeat began to falter. Streetlights pulsed with irregular rhythms, traffic signals created, chaotic patterns and digital billboards flickered like dying fireflies. Most citizens would chalk it up to a minor electrical disturbance, but Ji-won knew better. Her neural implant processed the incoming data streams with lightning speed. The alien infiltration units were no longer attempting subtle integration. They were preparing for a full-scale system takeover. Microscopic nanotechnological probes were spreading through the city's digital infrastructure like a virus, targeting critical communication networks. In the basement of global tech industries, a massive server complex hummed with unexpected energy. Normally climate-controlled and meticulously maintained, the room now crackled with an alien frequency that defied human technological understanding. Metallic tendrils of advanced technology began emerging from standard server racks. Adaptive, intelligent and completely foreign, Ji-won's specialized communication device translated the intrusion patterns. These weren't just simple technological infiltrators. They were part of a sophisticated reconnaissance network designed to map and potentially control human technological ecosystems. Their ability to mimic and manipulate digital systems was beyond anything her previous training had encountered. She activated her secondary protocol, a quantum communication burst that would alert her former military unit. But something was different this time. The alien technology was adapting faster than anticipated, creating complex interference patterns that threatened to block her transmission. A nearby maintenance drone suddenly transformed, its standard utility components reconfigured, metallic, segments shifting and realigning with impossible precision. What once looked like a simple cleaning mechanism was now a sophisticated reconnaissance unit, its multiple sensory arrays scanning the surrounding environment. Ji-won's muscle memory kicked in. Years of specialized training condensed into milliseconds of precise action. She wasn't just a former special operations agent, she was a highly specialized xenotechnological defense specialist. Her hand moved almost invisibly, activating a specialized electromagnetic pulse generator hidden within her server's uniform. The device, no larger than a smartphone, was capable of creating targeted disruption fields that could neutralize advanced technological infiltration units. The first wave of nanotechnological probes began to collapse. Their intricate communication networks fragmented, creating beautiful yet terrifying patterns of digital destruction. But the alien technology was adaptable, quickly reconfiguring to minimize damage. GlobalTech's main server room became a battlefield of technological evolution. Metallic tendrils fought against Ji-won's targeted electromagnetic disruptions, creating a dance of technological warfare invisible to normal human perception. Each pulse, each counterpulse, represented a complex negotiation between human innovation and alien technological intelligence. Her neural implant calculated potential outcomes with mathematical precision. This wasn't just about preventing an invasion. This was about understanding an entirely new form of technological existence. The alien infiltration units weren't simply trying to conquer. They were attempting to understand, to integrate, to communicate. A holographic display materialized near her hand, showing complex quantum communication patterns. The alien technology was sending coded messages, not of aggression but of curiosity. They were studying human technological ecosystems, seeking to understand rather than destroy. Ji-won's specialized training had prepared her for confrontation. But this moment required something more. A delicate balance of defensive capabilities and potential communication. She began constructing complex quantum response protocols, attempting to establish a preliminary communication channel. The city outside continued its normal rhythm, completely unaware of the technological battle occurring within GlobalTech's infrastructure. Delivery robots moved along predetermined paths, traffic signals continued their endless cycles, and digital billboards displayed their usual advertisements. Her communication device captured every millisecond of the interaction. This wasn't just a defensive operation. It was potentially the first meaningful contact between human and advanced alien technological intelligence. The server room's temperature dropped dramatically. Metallic tendrils retracted, regrouped, studied. The alien infiltration units were learning, adapting, responding to Ji-won's precise interventions. Technological warfare. Neutralized. First contact. Initiated. The story's fourth part concluded, revealing a complex technological confrontation that went far beyond simple invasion. What would be the ultimate outcome of this unprecedented encounter? The aftermath of the technological confrontation settled like a quiet mist over global tech industries. Hyeri Park stood motionless in the main conference room, her perfectly tailored suit now wrinkled, her immaculate makeup slightly smudged. The holographic displays around her revealed fragments of the incredible intervention that had just occurred. Ji-won entered the room, no longer wearing her server's uniform. Instead, she was dressed in a sleek, tactical jumpsuit that suggested her true professional background. Her movements were measured, confident, a stark contrast to the seemingly submissive waitress Hyeri had verbally attacked just days earlier. "I believe we need to discuss what happened," Ji-won said, her voice calm and professional. The recovered server logs told an extraordinary story. The alien technological infiltration had been more sophisticated than any human defense system could have anticipated. Multiple global communication networks had been moments away from complete compromise. and G1 had single-handedly prevented a potential planetary-scale technological takeover. Hiyeri's fingers traced the holographic data streams. Each visualization showed complex quantum communication patterns, technological defense mechanisms, and the intricate dance of intervention that had saved potentially millions of lives. Her entire understanding of corporate security was being rewritten in real time. "How long have you been working undercover?" Hiyeri's question carried a mixture of respect and genuine curiosity. G1's neural implant activated a secure communication protocol. Classified mission logs began streaming, years of specialized training, international reconnaissance missions, and extraordinary technological interventions. Each log entry revealed layers of a life dedicated to protecting humanity from threats most people couldn't even comprehend. The alien technological units hadn't been attempting a traditional invasion. They were conducting an advanced reconnaissance, studying human technological ecosystems with a complexity that bordered on scientific curiosity. G1's intervention hadn't just stopped an invasion. It had potentially opened a new chapter of interspecies technological communication. Global Tech's board of directors gathered virtually, their holographic representations filling the conference room. Each board member watched the mission logs with a mixture of shock and admiration. The woman they had previously dismissed as a simple restaurant server had just prevented a potential global technological catastrophe. "We want you to lead our new Xenotechnological Defense Division," Hiyeri said, sliding a comprehensive contract across the holographic table. The position carried unprecedented authority, direct access to global communication networks, unlimited research funding, and complete operational autonomy. G1's specialized communication device, now visible and no longer hidden, began processing the offer. Complex algorithms calculated potential strategic advantages, potential risks, and the broader implications of accepting such a position. The city outside continued its normal rhythm. Delivery drones moved along predetermined paths, digital billboards displayed their usual advertisements, and millions of citizens remained blissfully unaware of how close they had come to a potential technological collapse. Her neural implant highlighted key contract details. This wasn't just a job offer. It was a recognition of her extraordinary capabilities. Years of classified training, of working in the shadows, were finally being acknowledged at the highest corporate levels. "I have some conditions," G1 responded, her fingers manipulating the holographic contract. She wasn't just accepting a position, she was negotiating the terms of humanity's potential technological future. The alien reconnaissance units had left behind subtle technological markers, not as threats, but as potential communication bridges. G1's expertise would be critical in understanding these complex quantum communication signatures. Hiyeri watched her, the previous arrogance completely replaced by genuine respect. The waitress she had humiliated days earlier was now potentially the most important technological defense specialist on the planet. Outside the conference room, the first hints of a new technological era were beginning to take shape. Not through conflict, but through understanding. Not through invasion, but through careful, calculated communication. Technological potential unlocked. Human capability recognized. The story's final part concluded, revealing how a single individual's extraordinary capabilities could transform humanity's understanding of technological potential and interspecies communication.